Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another episode of the ICA Cricket Show with me, Satish Vishwanathan, as your host. To use part of a famous cricket commentator's phrase, it's all been happening on and off the cricket field. There's simply no end or beginning to a season these days. We have just witnessed a thrilling finish to the T20 World Cup, with the Australians at long last winning their first title. As that was happening out in Dubai, closer home things are as hot as usual, even as the winter sets in. As my good friend and cricket writer R. Kaushik recently wrote, it's appropriate that acclaimed crisis man Rahul Dravid is succeeding original crisis man Ravi Shastri as head coach of the Indian team. Well said indeed. Yes, come this evening, Rahul will oversee his first game as India coach, and he has some really big shoes to fill. Ravi having done a wonderful job in very trying circumstances, what is the pandemic, etc. To share the views on all of the above, I'm delighted to welcome the trio of former Indian cricketers, Anshuman Gaikwad, Lakshmipathy Balaji, and Sudhir Somasundar, all of whom are uniquely qualified for today's show, apart from their obvious qualities. Anshuman, a former India opener, was also national selector and the Indian team's coach, and is now on the BCCI Apex Council, where he represents the Indian Cricketers Association. Thanks, Anshuman, for sparing time for us.
Pleasure is mine, Satish.
Thank you. Former India pacer Balaji was there on two separate occasions of interest as far as today's show is concerned. As bowling coach of Kolkata Knight Riders, who made it to the IPL final when they came back from nowhere, Balaji spent more than enough time in the UAE just ahead of the T20 World Cup, so was well placed to talk to us on what went right for the Aussies and the Kiwis, who were the two finalists. Welcome on board, Bala. The second occasion, a more crucial one, I'll bring up later.
Thanks everyone.
Sujit, on the other hand, is not just my personal friend, but also that of the new Indian coach. Sujit and Rahul played together for Karnataka in the under 15 days, and later went out to make the Ranji debuts for Karnataka on the same day. Sujit, in his capacity as head of the education at NCA, a contract that will surely be renewed soon, has also worked closely with Rahul at the NCA. Great to have you on board, Sujit.
Thanks, Satish. Good to be on the show. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, and I said earlier, we have three uniquely qualified panelists today, and let's hear from them. Anshuman, let me come to you first for your overall assessment of the just concluded World Cup.
Well, I think Indians are favourite, and I'm sure. The way they played their cricket in the recent past was amazing. Meaning, even they proved that even without the mainstream players, they could still win, and that against Australia. So it was a poor material, but I think somewhere it has taken a toll. The bio bubble, and it was a little too long. I'm sure Bharat will be able to tell you because during the IPL he must have been into a Bible, but this was too long for anyone, and that probably has taken a toll. There can't be a sea of change in performance suddenly overnight, and that was one. I think the tournament was well played, and the finals, as you rightly said, was well fought. But I think New Zealand lacked somewhere. Australians proved it, Warner did all the different, Marsh did the rest. But Warner, can you imagine how cricket changes, how everything changes? Warner, just before the tournament, did not get in runs in IPL. Nothing significant. And he was dropped when he was sidelined. And here he comes in the World Cup and goes bang, bang, bang. And, he was man of the series. So it's amazing how cricket can change. But then I suppose, looking at the wickets, looking at the conditions, especially in UAE, Dubai or Sharjah, because being a coach, Satish, I know I've experienced quite a lot of these things. The toss becomes vital and has a distinct advantage. But I think New Zealanders in the final lost it. They didn't bowl well, they bowled too short, or they put it in the slot where Warner and Marsh were ready. So, there's something lacking. They need to do some soul searching, but they're a good side, meaning they're as good as the Australian side.
Bala, for you, you were there obviously for quite a long time. Were you surprised to see three non-Asian teams in the finals? Even West Indies, for example, is almost Asian. They sometimes open with the spinner these days. So that I want you to talk on that and Warner's comeback, because KKR came back. Warner has done something like that.
I think Satish, over the period of time since the inception of IPL, there is no big difference with the technical side. People have got acclimatized to the Asian condition better, because many from our foreign countries, many from overseas countries, upcoming players as well as established players have well established in Indian condition recent past with the experience and the exposure they get from IPL. So that is one point where we cannot differentiate where the foreigners, how quickly they will adapt to Indian wicket. Except in Test cricket, white ball cricket, they have quickly adapted in recent past. They know how to handle slow wicket as well as how to handle the wicket, which is like off the wicket deviation for the spinners. So in that way, I'm not too surprised. But the way the other Asian teams, other favorites like India is the one favorite, which is a little bit like couple of overs which change the course of India's that acceleration point in the front of the group stage matches, especially the first match against Pakistan. Everybody would agree. If anything would have gone right, it has to be in that match, because if that match puts a lot of other issues into mounted one as a one which if you lose the India Pakistan match, I know everybody would agree that it mounts added pressure to the team. So that is what exactly happened. The way we handled that first hour of the game against India Pakistan have resulted in the next game as well.
Balaji, can I come in? Satish, sorry. I just want to ask Balaji.
Yeah, sir.
What you said was so right, Balaji, that, but the way Pakistanis got into the game, they looked fearless, meaning it looked as if they had nothing to lose. Whereas the Indian team, if you see their body language or facial expression, it looked through and through that they were under pressure, to win the game. And does this bio bubble, for so long, would also affect, mentally, psychologically, physically, where you're sitting in a golden cage all the time?
I agree, sir. This bio bubble and quarantine, which we slowly got used to this season. Previous season was even more hard because the quarantine was 14 days, and this time it was much lesser. But still, it plays a huge role in your preparation. We only look at the outcome of what the result is on the match point of view, but what goes around that preparation, how well you're prepared, how well you used to that the confined condition, which you need to acclimatize. So constant shifting is we have able to travel recent past with the cricketing fixtures have been resumed from the first pandemic and the second wave as well. But it is not constant. There was not continuity in cricket, especially with the guys who have been little bit wanted to play, especially the guys who are coming back to the team, the ones like Hardik and ones like trying to establish into the big scene. So that continuity was missing because either in the other way, Pakistan played maximum recent past. Their home base have been shifted to Dubai. So in my experience last year, what we understood is last year batting is very, very difficult in Dubai. It is not the wicket where you can guess, or it is not the wicket you just get adapted very quickly. So the one who reacts on the day, on particular day, and play the innings where marshal the team batting lineup, the one who come through very well. So that is my understanding. So batting was a crucial for me in Dubai condition.
Yeah, wonderful.
Sujit, I want to bring you on two things here, Sujit. One is, I asked Bala actually about it. Warner, after having been dropped from the IPL, in the sense, last few games he left out for Sunrisers, he lost his captaincy earlier. A lot of things would have gone through somebody like David Warner. So to make this kind of a comeback, what does it take? And what does it tell about somebody like Warner?
Yeah, it's a good point. Everything was stacked against him in the IPL because we all know what happened to Warner in the IPL. He had a few bad games and didn't get the kind of backing in the support. What if you ask him, he would say. So it is very important what the space you are in. If at all you're coming back into, when I say the space, the environment, the people around, how conducive it is. So when he got back to the Australian team, I can imagine that he would have a lot of people who could, who could give him the kind of messages, whether directly or indirectly, with the right words, or even with the body language that he belongs. For somebody, when you feel that I do not belong here, it becomes that much more challenging to bring in and turn on all the resources. I think for Warner, that made a huge difference to get back into familiar environment, dressing room environment, and he was hungry. He wanted. If you look at all the teams that did well, they were really hungry. They were physically, mentally tuned in to the World Cup. Um Pakistan, if you look at, I think Gaikwad made the point, their body language, the way they went about their game and cricket, it suggests that they were feeling at home. Bala also mentioned they played a lot of cricket there. So in all four aspects, mentally, physically, technically, tactically, they were key because then they're familiar with the pitches and they know what kind of shots work there. Technically, they adapted well. Tactically, they knew what to do in those kind of conditions. So that made a huge difference. And like I said, you need to be tuned. And if you look at the Indian team, I think both of them mentioned they look a little, spent force because they played a lot of cricket before coming there. So there's only so much you can tank up in terms of uh, investment into the tournament. So physically, mentally, if you're drained, it becomes that much more harder. I think these are the aspects. And to come back to your question on Warner, I think he had a break in the IPL. He didn't do much, so he was hungry. He knew exactly he had time to introspect, um, and then I think that worked. And it's not easy, but he made it.
Sunil,
the-
sorry, Satish again.
Sorry.
Sunil, I want to ask you, what takes it to change gears suddenly? One side, he didn't get runs, and immediately you get into World Cup. Okay, it's fine that, there's more psychological preparation from the teammates or people around, or whatever, or introspection. There's soul searching done. But there's something called confidence. You don't get runs for a smaller side, and then you're getting into a big tournament with international sides. So when you're not doing well at the domestic level, and suddenly you change gears and do extremely well. So what it means? Meaning, what happens to the confidence? Everybody talks about confidence, low on confidence.
It's a great question. In fact, confidence is the key. I mean, because the belief in oneself and one's ability, the belief in oneself in the situation that one is in, whether I'll be able to cope with the situation. I think these two things makes a huge difference. So when we talk about how to get back into confidence, there are various sources that we look at to get back into confidence. One is definitely the action, go and practice, simulate the kind of environment that you will be in. Probably they practiced in those kind of pitches, bowlers. The more you practice and then you reaffirm to yourself that, yes, I'm able to do it. Remember the past successes. Warner probably had the help of a psychologist where they would make him go through all the success that he has experienced previously. So that is another source. He probably could hear from some of the trusted members of how good he is. That is another valid source. So there are a lot of sources from where you can gain back the confidence. I think that kind of a work would have happened both from external sources as well as internally. Like you said, he needs to do a lot of work himself, go back to the days and look at what worked for him. One other very important thing is when your back is against the wall, many times there's nothing to lose kind of an attitude comes in.
Yeah, agree.
So then instead of becoming too cautious, too careful, and measured and controlling your game, many times you come out of that and you express yourself freely. Probably that helped him as well, because I always tell people you need to be you need to be carefree to perform at your best, not careless but carefree. I think when the back is against the wall, he played some carefree cricket, and that is how he always played his game. And Warner, I think, he tasted. And the good thing is that initially when you start hitting the ball, you use that to gain and ride on the momentum that he had initially in the tournament.
Well, I think it was a great example for the youngsters, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There was a fantastic comment that I read. Apparently, Aaron Finch told Justin Langer before the World Cup started that Warner will be the man of the series. I mean, that was something amazing. I didn't. So that's, as I said, the confidence. I'm sure, as I said, backing. Sujit, you also said back to familiar conditions and all that. That is something. I mean, that was amazing. I was like totally taken back that he was given. I mean, they recognize. But I think the even other more crucial thing is even such a veteran as Warner. He also needs this kind of backing and all that. It's not like you expect a veteran. I know he knows everything. He'll take care of it. You still need the backroom staff. You need a captain. You need a coach. Even for a man who led Australia, led franchise cricket, and it's been around for so long. I think that's a great learning for everybody, that you cannot stop learning, and you need the backing however senior you are.
Yeah, to add to that, you can't take things for granted. At the end of the day, we all are humans. We all have our areas. In the mental space, a lot is talked about. Even for the heroes, if you keep expecting the best every time, that causes a lot of pressure. So at the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all fallible. Once we accept that, and the environment around you accepts that, it gives a good space for people to recover and come back strong.
Yeah. Anshu, you talked about the bubble and etc. things like that, which obviously played a huge part. I want to now move on to somebody, Ravi Shastri. He is the man who you can't really put him down in a hotel room. He is not comfortable, staying indoor. But for him to have, the last 4 years, obviously the two last part has been part of the pandemic and all that. Earlier it was not so. But for him to face these kind of challenges and pull off the kind of things he and his people with him, like Bharat Tarun and Sridhar, have done, there's something really great, isn't it?
Well, to be very frank, I was one of the panelists who we selected him as a coach of the Indian team. And the reason was that he was still connected with international cricket from close quarters. Second, he knew the boys very well, what the Indian boys would expect out of him and what he would expect out of the boys. So keeping this in mind, he was there appointed as the coach of the Indian team. Like you rightly said, the performance since he took over, I think it was beyond expectations of Indians, you name it, anyone. And let's accept it, that it happened, and he did. But Ravi, to be very frank, is very amicable person. And like you rightly said, it's not individually, it's a team. It's a teamwork, ably supported by Bharat and Sridhar. So all the combination that works so well and worked very well for Ravi. And I always kept saying that Ravi and Virat are the luckiest, the coach and captain I've ever seen, because this was probably the best Indian side that they had an options to select from, the bench strength. So, they had choices. They could play horses for courses. They could change the players, they could change the team according to the situation, according to the opposition, according to the pitches, conditions, and deliver, which they did. And Ravi, according to me, is somebody who is fearless. He is not, bothered or worried about losing a game. He has a very positive approach. And I knew him since my playing days, so I know how he goes about. And he's the one, he keeps everyone together. Is that way very sensitive to see that if one of the players is sitting in the corner sulking, he would ensure that he calls him to the room, or in the dressing room, he sorts it out there itself. Now, these are the qualities which, really bring about results and what results are required. And the kind of results that Ravi and his team and the Indian team and the boys gave, I think it was out of this world, meaning beating Australia without the main players, you talk about every tournament, every series, there was nothing negative to think about. Everything was positive. The boys looked confident, boys looked aggressive. So I think overall, if you look at it, Ravi and his team have done a great job. And like I said, beyond expectations.
Bala Bharat Tarun, there's been a lot of the bowlers have talked highly of him, and he and Ravi made a great pair. Actually, we have spent a lot of time together. What did Bharat exactly bring to this particular setup, and what kind of changes did he make, you think?
I think over the years, someone who has come through the foundation level. Like my debut year, Bharat Tarun sir was a coach of Tamil Nadu team. Since then, he has been stuck to coaching and developed over the period of time. Become much stronger in technique and tactics, as well as the mental strength aspect of a growing cricketer. He started off with a young team, India under-19 team. And he has traveled with the NCA and injury, rehabilitation phase of some of the cricketers like Shami, who underwent a couple of surgeries, and Umesh and Ishan. So he has traveled with them back end as well before he took up the Indian team bowling coach job. So he understood the exact ecosystem, and he has spent over the period of time of where Indian cricket is moving towards, from first class level, under 19 level, and then back end NCA and IPL, a couple of stints, and as well as in the end he able to come to some kind of roadmap for Indian fast bowling department. So over the period of time, we've been in a fast bowling in one when we used to play. Like I'm not able to compare the previous generation before me, but me, Zahir, Ajit, Ashish, we know we were a little bit. We have to manage our injuries. We have to manage to sail through that, because selection is one way where we were worried about. Still, you establish. Sometimes we will be over bowling. Sometimes we'll be playing some matches for sake of doing. I think that has changed during this tenure of last 5-6 years, where players' health and security and health and the kind of mental ability as well. Like recent past, we are talking about the mental ability to sustain for a long period of time as a career. So all these things taken into consideration, and rotation aspect was introduced. And young, it is not about the Indian cap, which has been before that, which you have to score tons and tons of wicket, tons and tons of runs, and takes a lot of wicket to. Sometimes the position has to be sometimes will be fulfilled by somebody else, or some selection matches go out of your way. So I feel. Bigger pool, they created a 40-45 players pool where many performers and rookies were introduced just like that, and they have taken a couple of out of the way steps as well in selection, as well as managing workload. Make the established bowlers also. It is not that you left alone, or somebody who's carrying injuries or prone injuries again and again, because I have been one of that prone injuries. Sometimes you need to manage them. So in that way, Bharat Tarun and his understanding over the period of science of fast bowling, and in team tactical way, it shouldn't affect the team tactical way as well. Pace, swing, and art has been not compromised. So in that way, you have to give a credit, because someone who has grown into this place and grown up in this place, and who couldn't establish as a fast bowler, and who was a victim of injuries as well. So he understood exactly what the emotional side of a fast bowler. So in that way, I feel they have changed, and they have opened up a new gate for the Indian new generation of fast bowlers to be approached.
I mean, that's a great point, because building that pool and taking care of the reserves, we saw that in Australia recently. Anybody could step in and take somebody's position. I think that's great credit to the entire team, and for the fast bowling part, obviously to Bharat. Sujit, while we talk about these, I mean, Australia is obviously two big wins in Australia under Ravi and company. But it started actually in 2015 when India went to Sri Lanka. That's when Ravi took over for the first time from Fletcher as full-time coach. They lost that first test in Galle. They were all but, if you can recall the test, they all but won the test and then suddenly collapsed. But what happened in the dressing room post that is, we talked about a lot. I mean, Shastri told everybody that, guys, just speak your mind. tell whatever you have to say. Nobody is going to be blamed. Just speak. I believe there's an outpouring of things. And the result was India won the series 2-1, and we are winning in Sri Lanka after a long time. So there's a lot of backroom stuff that we don't get to know.
Yeah, see, observation is great and it's correct. So Gaikwad sir also mentioned the qualities Ravi brought onto the table. See, if you look at how he played his game, Ravi Shastri came in as a left-arm spinner, and then he was given an opportunity to open the batting, and he evolved. He thrived in those challenging situations. That's the kind of attitude and a mindset he always displayed when he played. And there was never a moment where his head was down or his chest was inward. He was always chest high, head high, and chest out kind of a person. Even in those matches, if you remember, because of that kind of a confidence that he displayed, a lot of places the crowd were never for him. They were booing him, but he still had the resolve to handle that. That's the kind of a person Ravi Shastri is to be. He knew how to handle criticism, and he knows how to thrive in those situations where everything or mostly everything suggests that you're not welcome here, right? So he knew how to handle it through his playing days, and that's something that he brought into the table when he took over as a coach of the Indian team, where he demonstrated himself that never say die, nothing is lost. All you need to do is go and do what it takes. Forget about the result, but then show up to compete, not just to win. So that is something that I saw in the Indian team that changed. It's not about winning, but it's about competing, because that's what he did through his career. He just went out there and fought it out. I remember when he played in his last few matches, played against Karnataka, and he got 100. It was not easy, and that's something that stays with me as a person that he demonstrated. And that's, I think, what made him a great coach to have in the dressing room when especially things are not going well, Satish. So he knew how to pep the players, how to motivate people with his speeches and the way he spoke. And one great point that you mentioned, Satish, is, see, when people express themselves and when people get to deliver the communication that usually is not accepted, when people bring out all the things that is there within, and when they can express it, they become a lot more freer. That's the kind of an environment I think he built, where people could express themselves, their concerns, their fears, anything. And when that happens in that space, it becomes pure and it becomes well connected. Everybody connects to each other. I think that camaraderie that he brought in, that attitude of never say die, and the self-belief that he himself displayed through his career, he made sure that everybody else brings that on, and that worked wonderfully well for Indian cricket when he was there, because that's what made the turnaround, I think.
Oh, brilliant. Anshuman, now big shoes for Rahul Dravid to fill, because he's stepping into Ravi's shoes. You've obviously been part of the Indian setup when Rahul was a player. You observed him at very close quarters for a number of years. What does Rahul Dravid bring to the table?
Well, Satish, before I start on Rahul, let me add something what Sujit said.
Sure.
There are two qualities which Ravi had, which are exceptional. One, most important, with the earlier coaches, they had a habit of getting the limelight, or taking the limelight, which Ravi never did. He was always in the background. The moment he was appointed as a coach, he made a statement that, well, captain is the boss. That's it. So he made things very clear to everybody, whether it's players or whether it's officials or whether it is poor at BCCI or poor. So that gave a lot of clarity to the captain, to the boys, to the support staff. And the man to keep everyone together, which is the most important thing. As a coach, I was struggling initially, and then I realized what is important: keeping them together, keeping them focused. And I think that is what Ravi did extremely well. Now, coming to Rahul, well, when I was the coach, I'll tell you, Satish, I had to push certain boys to go warm up. I didn't have support staff like today. Didn't have a trainer, didn't have a physio. I had a doctor who was not a physio, but he was a doctor. So we had to do training almost by ourselves. And I had to push certain boys to go warm up, run a bit extra, a little extra fielding, extra batting, bowling, but not Rahul. I did not. For those 3 years, whatever I was the coach, I don't think I even bothered to tell him anything. That he needs to go to the gym, he needs to run, he needs to take catches, set catches, he needs to bat so much time. Nothing at all. He did everything perfect. And what it means is he knew exactly what is required for him and he used to do that. And he was successful, meaning there was no reason for me to, interfere and tell him, well, don't do this, don't do that, which I did with the other boys. But Rahul, as far as he's concerned, no, he knew exactly. And he had his own ethics, own principles to go about his game and game in general, cricket in general. He used to discuss very intelligently in the team meetings where the planning came into the fore. But he does carry his principles and ethics. He is extremely disciplined. I'm sure Sujit has spent a lot of time with him. He will vouch for it. That, all that principle, ethics, what Rahul has, or he had, he would bring into the Indian team. And I always believed when I was the coach that the discipline off the ground always shows up on the ground. So it's very equally important that you have togetherness, stay focused, and discipline off the ground. And on the ground, it will automatically happen. And I'm sure Rahul will do that. He has challenging time because the kind of performance Ravi and his team has given. Well, he has said many Indians have grown in stature. They have different status now as far as international cricket is concerned, different expectations from fans and public and from people. So Rahul will have a lot to work on. Meaning, if you want to work as a coach, I'll tell you my experience has been a day should be 48 hours, not 24 hours if you want to work. There's a lot to do,
Sujit, obviously you played a hell of a lot of cricket with Rahul, you've grown up with him and everything. But, there's two aspects to this. Bala mentioned earlier about Bharat having come through the system, in the sense he was under 19, India A, NCA. After a long time, we are getting a coach. With all, we know what we spoke about Ravi, Kumbul Anil was coach earlier, but they were not coaches per se. Of course, as Anshu said, you need more man management than anything else. But Rahul brings both man management part and the coaching part. You spend a lot of time with the NCA also. So can you take us through, what his ideas, what he, sort of will possibly change, if at all, anything?
So this is a wonderful thing that you observed. You took thing away from me what I wanted to actually bring in. You mentioned Rahul. So we always believe that Ravi and the people who have achieved great things like Guy Patsar, they've been there, done that. When they take over, the mentorship kind of a contribution overwhelms. That is basically they become more mentors, because then they can share their experiences. They've gone through those situations and they can mentor people. But the beautiful combination, that the other aspect that you brought in, Satish, is that since Rahul has spent a lot of time, he's a technician anyway, right? So he spent a lot of time to understand the techniques of the game, what works for him, etc. Initially when he's playing days. But even he used to mention when he was in NCA, when we used to conduct these certification programs where we talk a lot about the mechanics of the game, the biomechanics, the technique, the technical aspects, he would be the first one to say, wow, this is something that I didn't know. And he would attend and be very, very intensely focusing on learning those aspects of why when I play this shot, these things will happen and why it will not happen. So while you're playing and succeeding, you don't need to know why. What's the why behind why you're successful, right? So when you're playing, you don't need to spend too much time on understanding the techniques of the game, as long as you get the things done. But he spent some time over the last 2 years when I was there in MCA, sitting in those courses, trying to understand the technical aspects. Now that is another added thing that he'll bring in, other than being a mentor and being able to share his experiences. And that's a great combination. And Gaikwad sir has understood Rahul so very well, and he has displayed one of the greatest abilities that a coach needs to have by observing and understanding individuals. And while he was a coach, he has understood each one of them. Gaikwad sir has done that. And that is one of the most difficult aspects for a coach, to understand the differences in each individual. Now, that will be a little bit of a challenging thing for Rahul, because he went about preparing intensely. His work ethic is undoubted, right? You can't catch him, or you can't see him shirk practice sessions, etc. So his work ethic is impeccable. But when he sees some other people prepare differently, he needs to be able to accept that and understand that that also is another way of people prepare. So that will be another challenge. Because if you look at Ravi Shastri and Rahul, they are two different, distinctly different personalities. One is very outspoken, right? And outspoken, and even in the body language, you can see is little aggressive and expressive. Rahul is, on the other hand, a lot more quieter. We can say sometimes he has a poker face. You can't make out his emotions. He holds it to himself. Uh, so two diverse characters. But then there are many ways to skin the cat, right? So you can get it done. Rahul is a lot more matured now in terms of handling so many teams, and he understands. We have had some conversations. He wants to learn how to deal with, because you need to understand different persons and not become judgmental. One of the real abilities that one needs to have as a coach is becoming non-judgmental uh, about people, if especially they are not uh, behaving or acting or doing things that you think is the right way. So even that he's trying to understand and bring that onto the table. So this combination of him being a mentor as well as understanding the nuances of the game, he will bring in all of those qualities, and he will definitely help people handle those situations. And his presence is that he will bring that kind of a calm in the environment. He's always been calm and composed because he's non-judgmental. I've seen him being very non-judgmental and overbearing, even if he has a very strong point and he's very opinionated about something, he would not mention it, and he would give the other person the opportunity to say it and give them a hearing. So that is something that I think will work very well when he takes over, even though it is going to be, the players are going to experience distinct difference between how it was when Ravi was there and when Rahul comes in.
That's great insights from both of you, actually. Bala,
I
don't
want to
know you-
add one more thing. Like
Please.
both of them said, with
Yeah.
my personal experience in Sydney game, we have to defend around 2004 PB series. We have to defend. I bowled the last over, and 11 runs Australia were needed. So I gave a six of the fifth ball. So the match got over on the last ball. So I was little bit shattered. I was 21 years old, shattered. I couldn't see anybody's face in my teammate. So only one person put the arm around my shoulder. That was Rahul Bhai. He mentioned the impact which he created, not that body language. He said only one word. An individual cannot lose a match and win a game alone in a team sport. So that so far all these years during my captaincy and during my coaching, that is one guideline I will follow in my, because it is not the one individual or a one who decides the outcome of good or bad thing happens, which you normally see day in, day out with uncertainties of sports person life. So other thing is in 2008, again, after my comeback from injury, I was selected in NCA. And Rahul Bhai was in the later stage of his career, around 38 or 37. So that was the year where T20 was introduced in India, like at IPL inaugural year. Rahul Bhai was literally preparing how to play T20 a game. Morning 6 o'clock he comes and trains. He just transforming his act towards that. No, he has scored tons and tons of runs in two other formats. But I see he is preparing for one format which is recently introduced, and he was around his fag end a little bit later stage of his career. Yes, I know. I mean, people adapt, will take time, but his preparation, putting the hard yards, which he was after the IPL, after the inaugural 2008 IPL, he has done everything like 12 hours a day. He used to stay there in NCA. So morning, he just take a schedule, do his fitness with Paul Chapman, and then he will do gym, and then again throw downs with Raghu, and then again take a break. And we all will be like looking what he is going to go back or he's going to come back. And no, he stayed there in NCA. He stayed there that 20 days. I've seen whatever he has done. 20 days. He stayed there in NCA 12 hours. Evening around 7 o'clock, after the darkness come into play, he just leave. So that I say, like, for any talent to transform, you have to expansion of your multiple acts. Like your body needs to accept first and transform. He wants to transform. So that is again a huge influence in me. And he is able to play after the T20 as an opener in Rajasthan and mentor team. Then as a coach, the way he has overtook, like he could have easily gone into other departments like commentary and everything. But when I retired in 2016, I was training in just trying to do something. I don't know where exactly I'm going to go in Chepauk. So that is the first assignment, first game he took with under 19. So in Chepauk ground. So he congratulated me on my retirement, and I was amazed to see. He could have gone into any other consultation and any other job where he could have definitely. But why he took under 19? So again, it put me into some place where you have to go towards the basic. Whoever you may be, you have to go to the basic or foundation level to understand one aspect of the game. So from there, where he has reached now, he has gone through the phases of graduation, and right now the Indian team will be handed over to a right guy to look forward in the future.
You know,
Well,
yes, sir.
Satish, can I add something?
Please, please.
Balaji, what you said was so true. I mean, absolutely. I just want to add here, Rahul was known as a test player, never a one-day player or limited overs or T20. And when I was a coach, Kishan Rumta, the selector, and all those guys, I kept on insisting, give me Rahul, give me Rahul. He said, no, he's a test player. He's not a one-day player. Ultimately, 1 year, two teams. One went to Commonwealth and the other went to Canada. So Rahul was given a chance and we went to Canada. Now, before that, I told Rahul, I said, be ready. You're going to be in the team. So he laughed. What, Anshubai? What are you saying? I said, I'm telling you, be ready. Ultimately, anyway. So then he was given a chance. Then Kenya came to India and he was given two matches, 1 day, and he didn't get runs. Anything and everything that he hit was in the hands of point, of covers, of mid-off. He couldn't pierce through. So 2 games went, and then the selectors sat on my head and said, nothing doing. We were saying that he's a test player, he's not a one-day player. I said, please give him more time. I'm sure he'll come good because he's got his basics absolutely right. And one day I always believed in an improvisation. Like you talk about IPL 1 and IPL 14, there is so much of change, sea of change in playing your shots. There are no more cow shots and cross-butted shots. They're all cricketing shots now. And they're still scoring the same amount of runs. And that's what I believed in, that Rahul will come good. That entire, so the selectors agreed and they gave next 4 matches, the 6 matches, and just tell him, give him that confidence that he's going to play the entire series of 1 days. So I told Rahul, I spoke to him and, thank you, Anshubai, that was his reaction. But look at it, like Bala said, his work ethics, his commitment to the game, that he wanted to do well. And he went on to score 10,000 runs in 1 day.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And I met those After the selectors retired, I also went off as a coach. I met them in one of the match. I said, "Sir, 10,000 runs." Yeah, okay. We understand. So, that is Rahul. Amazing.
Yeah, I never lose a chance, so I'm not going to lose it today also. To mention whenever we talk about Rahul that I've captained him in college, so I had to say that. So, but even Bala, obviously that was long time back. We don't meet that often now. It's not possible. He's too big a man. But you personally saw one particular incident which gives us a completely different Rahul from what we have come to accept and all that. I'm not talking about the Indra Nagar ka Gunda ad that gives us, it's a new thing. But in Pakistan, Sachin Tendulkar batting on 194, and Mr. Nice Guy of Indian cricket decides that this is the time to declare. A double run against Pakistan doesn't come every day, and we're talking about Sachin Tendulkar, but he took this tough call. So, what was the scene that day, Bala? And did you expect this of Rahul?
I was too young, so all the leaders were inside. Like Saurav was still part of the dressing room because he got injured and Rahul were replaced. And I was too young to understand what exactly happened. But as a thing, we have overcome all the.
No,
other
I'm
side
only
of
talking about
controversies.
Rahul's personality.
But
I'm not talking about the.
as a leader, there was an opportunity.
Hmm.
There was an opportunity to win the game because we never won in Pakistan soil. Later on, I understood we have not all the histories I didn't know then. It was opportunity. Either the easiest way is to kill time, and the Pakistan lineup and the wicket was not deteriorating. Veeru got a 100, and Sachin Paji got almost a 100, and it didn't deteriorate on the second day as well. There was nothing much for a. There is hardly any maidens bowled by the bowlers in the opposition. So the scoring also were very fast, 700 runs in around 1 day and 4 or 5 hours. The last over was the only one which we needed a time to get 20 wickets. So back then, we did really well in Australia. I was there part of the team, but I couldn't get a chance. In this game particularly, Ajit got injured in the morning of the game, shin injury, so the best you couldn't pass through. So I was a late inclusion around 9 o'clock. So I got the first wicket of Imran Farad the next day. So all these things, like the match got over on the fifth day morning. Fifth day morning, first hour session, the match got over. The celebration we had, that is what I exactly remember. First time in over the period of time, so many odd yards being traveled by our generation of cricketers and their fruitfulness. And I really felt that presence of Indian cricket in Pakistan soil. And everybody was together celebrating. I think all these things of all the yards, hard yards have hard decisions and tough decisions and emotional decisions have boiled out to a very good celebration, which you created a history on that fifth day morning. So later on, we only knew that celebration of first time, and so many years of cricketers have put the seeds and be able to do that on Pakistan soil in Multan. So that was a wonderful sight and under Rahul Bhai's captaincy.
Yeah, exactly. I was only referring to the personality that, he can be tough. Sujit, obviously among the four of us here, you know him the best. So he's not one who steps back, right? When a call has to be made on, there will be some tough calls to be made. This team itself, for example, the test team, when it comes down to selection for the South Africa series, maybe there will be some people, you'll have a slight change. We have seen the T20 team, which kicks off. A lot of youngsters have been introduced now, all that. So he's not one who will step back and taking tough calls also, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, over a period of time, being assertive is very important. I think he's assertive when it really requires to be. He's not aggressive. Body language nor his communication is never aggressive, but he's assertive. He understands that he needs to put his foot down in certain areas, non-negotiables. He's very clear on certain non-negotiables. He's also I think he is very decisive as a person. You need to be decisive to be a leader, whether the decisions go well or no. He can be decisive. As a captain, he has taken some unpopular decisions as well for the team because once you're connected to the larger good, when you're connected to the the main goal, you can take those tough calls and sometimes unpopular decisions. But nonetheless, like you've observed, these qualities also should come in, because he's always seen as somebody who is soft. But he wouldn't have been successful in world cricket in all formats of the game if he was not decisive, if he didn't take tough decisions and calls. That's the stature of the man. Even though through body language, if he doesn't display aggressiveness or toughness, but then I remember reading somewhere where he could give that look in the eye. You know that he is not to be messed around with. So I think he brings in the right balance.
Yeah. Gentlemen, it's been an amazing 50 minutes. I didn't even realize we have gone past 50 minutes. The insights that you three have provided, I can easily say possibly the best show that we've had so far. With due respect to all the other shows. I'm going to leave you all three with one final question. Today is the series starting against New Zealand, the T20s. Anshu, you first. What is your prediction for the 3-match series?
Oh, well, Satish, playing in India, it's always India. There's no question. I always say that. And if at all something goes wrong, if at all, I think one shouldn't react as far as Rahul is concerned, who has just come in as a coach. Any individual who comes in has to be given time to understand the boys and gain the confidence and give the confidence. So that's going to be the key factor as far as Rahul taking over. But as far as India is strong in India, on Indian wickets. There's no question.
Bala, your take?
I think Rahul is the right person, like I said before, to take this long journey. It's a journey where it is going to have some setbacks. So as an outsider, we all have to be supportive on that, as well as some of the decisions will be taken looking at the team's longer journey, so longer outcome. So probably 3 World Cups are there, and a lot of youngsters going to get a lot of chances. So I wish this particular set of newcomers and new leaders a very, very good luck for the future.
Your prediction for the series, Bala? 3-0, 2-1.
Prediction, yes. Like Anshubai said, always the favorites will be India. So I want to see some new addition doing well, like Ritu. Not because I'm biased, because some of the talents should not miss out. So I'm sure the talents will be justified. So if they get a good opportunities, and I wish them a good run here, but definitely India favorite for me.
Sujit, despite it being a new look Indian team, India still favorites?
Yeah, I think you can't take them out of the equation when it comes to the Indian conditions. So you can't count them out, even though they didn't have a good World Cup. I think they'll bounce back. The team dynamics has changed in terms of the support staff and the coach. So these are the challenges, but nonetheless, I think they'll show up. They will be able to beat the New Zealand team. See, one other thing I would like to observe is that Rahul, I think, will want to give a look at all the youngsters, because he's always pro youngsters, right? So for that, result will not make too much of a meaning to him. I think. I mean, that's the kind of a mindset he goes in with. So like Sir mentioned, we shouldn't be jumping on the results. What Rahul will do in his first stint as a coach, I don't think he'll be very, very flustered and bothered about it too. I hope the players will respond well to a new setup. If that happens, I'm sure Indians will come out top. But 2-1 is what I predict. To your question, Satish. India.
Okay. No, a slight disagreement there, Sujit. Rahul has to look at results also. Not immediately, but not the luxury of under 19 where he had to only groom. He was asked this in a press conference yesterday. He said, obviously, there will be a slight change. But as Anshu said, obviously, you won't judge Rahul on one series or even the first few of this thing. And it's not the coach. Ultimately, it's not the coach who's going to do. The coach can only play only a supporting role. It's always up to the players. But again, similarly like that, this show would not have taken place, but for the three of you being so nice, first one call each, and you all agreed. Fantastic discussion. In fact, I got a special message from our secretary Hitesh also thanking all three of you. He says he really enjoyed the show. Thank you very much. I just hope that as and when I disturb you people again to come back for another show in the future, that you will come and lend your views again. Thank you all three very much.
See you,
Thank you.
Anshuman sir. See you, Paji.
See you, Bala.
See you,
sometime
Ganesh.
soon.
Yeah. See you,
All
sir.
right,
See you.
Thank
see
you.
Sujit, hope you get your
Thank-
contract quickly. If not, let me know. I'll take it up in the Apex Council.
Thanks for the support.
Wish you all the best.
sir.